Hi everyone, I'm João Gondim. I'm here to present this paper, Amplified Reflection Attacks over TCP Exploiting Middleboxes. The paper it's a work developed by Paulo Vitor França de Souza. I'm presenting on his behalf. I was his supervisor while doing this work. Well, DDoS, just 10 days ago we had a major outage due to DDoS, so it's quite a recent, quite up to date, and it dates back to the beginnings of the internet. So so far, reflection attacks, DDoS reflection attacks, were associated with UDP. But in 21 we had this paper by Bock et al. Demonstrating that Middleboxes could be exploited to provide TCP as a vector for amplification. Okay, these Middleboxes, that's the irony of it. They are there to provide some securities, so they have to inspect, filter, modify packets for their firewalls, proxies, IPSs. But if misconfigured or sometimes bugged, you can have some interesting results, interesting effects coming out of it. We have already gone over 11 gigabits per second. The recent mark is, for the record, is 22 gigabits. So not gigabits, terabits. So this work had some experimental laboratory settings to demonstrate the attack, and then we go on to a large scale scan of the IPv4 address space to identify reflecting IP addresses behind Middleboxes. Technically, it's a very simple, as almost all attacks, even reflection attacks. TCP packets, forged TCP packets with a SYN segment with a payload that's already spoofing the source address, the victim's address, and so the responses go directly to the victims. The responses take several forms, several formats, but basically this happens because the TCP handshake implementation is not always matching the standards in the RFCs. Amplification, data received by the victim, bytes received by the victim over bytes received by the attacker. If that's over 1, you have amplification. If that's 1, that's even, and that's under 1, so you get attenuation. Well, everybody, it's not big news how to prevent these attacks. So require Middleboxes that really complete the TCP handshake, block SYN packets with payloads. Well, that's not the only pattern for this attack, but that was the one we tested. There are other 4 possible packets in that paper we mentioned, but that's easy to do. Limit response sizes, and simplify blocking pages, use encrypted connections, and keep your Middlebox firmware and patches up to date. So the setup is the attacker sending to the target a spoofed package with a block domain, spoofing the target's, using the target's address to spoof it, and the firewall response sending the response to the target. 3 different scenarios. The third is really the image of a real Middlebox. The other 2 is more to proof of concept for our tests. Domains configured to be prohibited, quite obvious one. The attack code is in the first link to the GitHub. The second has our lab results. And, and probes are sent to a local blocking page. There was no, the overall result is that there was no real amplification of content. amplification rates were matching one time, and logs confirm blocking and recording of the reflection. Well, here's the screen for pfSense by PF Blocker NG. Pretty just to demonstrate our findings. Proxy and content filter results for pfSense with the squid and the squid guard. Not much different. It correctly returns a blocked HTML page, and traffic was allowed, but the result shows some inconsistent behavior, and it is no representative data on amplification via the attack code. And then comes FortiGate. It's a commercial product, and it requires the full three-way handshake, and we got some reflection but without amplification. It's under 1, but it has a confirmed vulnerability for specific versions. That's the picture. So summing up our lab work, lab results, we have pfSense, pfSense implementations with some amplification, level amplification, 1, and FortiGate with a ability pass less than 1. Okay. So we went to the scanning in the Brazilian IPv4 space. We use ZMAP with the forbidden scan module. That's also there. That was used in the first paper in 2021. We used the country IP blocks from Brazil, and the idea was to identify IPs mostly behind Middlebox that return blocking pages, resets with payloads, or other amplification patterns. We had some ISP restrictions, but they were circumvented to get to the scan being done. The results are quite impressive, because we had some over 13 million responding IP addresses, about 4.5 million being classified as amplifiers. And the average amplification, well, here we had amplification. The good news is it's not that high. It's a little over 1.5, but given the numbers, that could be really a significant threat. Okay, there is a predominance of SYNAC patterns, and the scan duration took some 2 hours and 26 minutes. We had to do that through proxies. Then we chose 2 networks, 2 ASs that we had previous knowledge that they had Middleboxes, just to have an idea, because it was clear that we didn't have vendors are not making all that money selling Middleboxes, and we don't have 4.5 million Middleboxes here in the Brazilian address space. So we checked 2 ASs. We don't disclosure their addresses here, but we had for network A, ASA, 12,000, almost 12,500 responding IPs, of which almost 12,500, almost 9,000 amplifying, okay, with an amplification of a little over the average we got in the full scan, but still less than 2. And at ASB, we had some over 6,000 responding IPs and almost 4,500 amplifying IP addresses, and that's also over almost on 1. Well, just to what we learned, we can have these amplification attacks going on. They are widely used solutions to reflect package, and scans in Brazil revealed millions of susceptible IP addresses. Thank you very much. I hope thanks for the audience. Thank you.